and then I had some plans, and I was like, they don't need me, and I don't feel like rushing home. So,
I don't blame you for
Just
that.
like,
Although
although
it was a fun conversation we had with the guys
It
from
was.
those were fun people. I had a good time talking to them at Hanover Paracon
Yeah,
and
I
seeing
was.
that demo. That the Staticon is amazing.
It is, and I was telling them, I'm like, dude, they sound so smart. I'm just trying to think of like questions that don't make me look so stupid. Because I'm like,
I felt like I was in a lecture, like
mhm,
in college. But
but in a good
it was
way.
amazing, like in a good
Yeah,
way. Like
yeah.
I was being taught so much stuff, and I came out of that like knowing so much more. I mean,
And then
it
opening,
was
Yeah,
it really opened up a new avenues, like a new way of looking at things as well.
yeah.
Um, I think you and Howie should definitely have them on the Orion effect. So I think he would eat that shit up.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
he was. Yeah, it was really, really, really great. How did Kim's open house go?
It went really, really good. I'm so excited for her, and I'm going to be teaching some classes there and stuff. So
Oh, that's
as
great.
well, and
What are
I've
you going to be
got the
teaching?
space. Well, for sure, I'm going to teach tarot, like a beginning tarot class, um, and then probably a couple of other things. Maybe do some open up a schedule to do some readings there and things like that.
Ooh, that's
We should do
fun.
we should
Yeah.
do a tarot show
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's a
because I
whole. That's a whole. That's a whole rabbit hole right there.
I
Mhm.
We
mean,
definitely still need to do numerology.
yeah, yeah, I definitely want to do that. I want to have because I had a numerologist on the show a long time ago, back when Holly and I were doing it, and it fucking blew my mind.
It's crazy.
It
It's
was
wild.
yeah,
I never. So
I
what
took
is
a
numerology?
crash course in it. So I mean, I could pull up my notes and probably speak pretty intelligently still about it. But
What is numerology? So, like, just a
it's
very
like
short.
it's like the numbers of your life add up to like the kind of person you are when you
yep,
have like a birth number. And I mean, I could,
and you can
we
even
tried to
use
explain it.
you can even use your birth number to like, and your birth number is based off like the day, it's month, day, and year. But like even if you're wanting to like you've got an important decision to make or important papers to sign, you can use your date and the date of that date and figure out when's the best time that you should make that decision or do that paperwork.
What?
Is it a good time to do that paper? It's really wild. It's
Yeah.
wild.
I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't really think anything of it until, I had this lady, I forgot what her name was. Although I'd reach out to her. Actually, you know what? I think if you're comfortable with it, Rhonda, I might just have you do it as like an
Let me
introduction
let me do
type
some
thing.
refresher things
It
on it.
won't be until like
Yeah.
October, so
Yeah. Okay.
we
Cool.
have time. So,
Yay.
but yeah, I mean, it's really a neat, really a neat concept.
I can actually talk to the guy who taught me and see if he'd be interested in coming on the show.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. And of course, I want to wish everybody a very happy National Dance Like a Chicken Day, which
Ah,
again, is a
Dang.
very important holiday for all you, everybody out there.
that was
Chicken
my
dance holiday.
favorite. That was my favorite dance back in the
The
day.
chicken dance.
Yeah. Bok bok chicken, bok chicken head.
I know the folks at Warner Paranormal Preservation Society are big chicken dancers. The fact that they took the time off
You
out of
did
their
tell
busy.
them they needed to perform for us, right?
I know that's part of the show. You got to do that.
Listen,
You have to
You
do their
got to
chicken
do
dance.
you want our
the
tens and tens and tens and tens of followers. You gotta
Yes,
do
the
some chicken
like the two
dances.
people we have watching us. Oh, we have 5 people watching us right now. So there we
Wow.
go.
All
Awesome.
right.
Say hi to everybody. Welcome to the show. Let's see a paranormal shout out. Let's give it to Rhode Island Paranormal. They've been on the show before. They're really cool people. Because Rhode Island, that's a home of the Conjuring House.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So yeah, they've been there
We're
before.
hoping to get there next year.
I want to go there so bad.
Me too. We need to get.
so
We
bad.
got to take a road trip. What's up, Shayla?
Hey, Shayla.
Woohoo!
Middletown Paranormal in the house.
MTP. M to Middletown Paranormal. What's up?
MTV.
Let's see. Let's bring back a word, shall we? Let's bring it back. I say we bring back the word elf lock.
What is elf lock?
Elf lock.
Elf lock.
Yes.
I feel like it's like when you're running through flowers.
That's no. That's not what it is. I'm gonna elf lock through these flowers. Woohoo! Frolic.
Woohoo!
Tra-la-la. The moderator. Beautiful, beautiful hair.
What is it?
Actually, the moderator isn't far off, but it's elf lock hair that is so tangled it looks like it was matted by elves.
I do that sometimes in the morning.
Yeah. That
very,
pretty much looks like that every morning.
Very whimsical.
I wake up looking like a brown-headed Einstein.
You've got elves matting your hair at night.
I have ADHD, so I sleep all over the bed, and so I wear my hair down. So I wake up in the morning, and my hair is just standing straight up. Just
my hair gets all poofy,
and then I gotta shake it out
like this. Shake it off. So now we have a new segment today. It's called Questions with Sarah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
What is your question, Sarah?
Would you rather be stuck in a romantic comedy with your worst enemy or in a horror movie with your best friend?
Horror movie with my best friend.
I'd say the romantic comedy with my worst enemy.
Really? Why?
Because I'm not in a chance of dying or being chopped up or being shot or being, hung or whatever.
I mean, I think I'd do the horror movie because it would be real fun.
It would be fun. We know everything not to do.
I could do a horror movie.
Stay in the house.
I'd be fun if I knew I wasn't going to die.
I mean, some people don't die in horror movies.
I mean, I know not everybody
There's usually
dies.
one person that doesn't die.
I know. Who's it going to be, Ryan? You or me, buddy?
That's right. We just be hanging out in the room, not moving, not leaving, not going anywhere. What was that? I don't care. It's out there. We'll see it right here. I know how these things end. So tonight, guys, we've got Warner Paranormal Preservation Society coming on the show tonight. So I say we bring them on and let's talk about some ghosts and stuff. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Here's Matt Warner. What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hello.
We've got Ian. Hey, man. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate you guys coming on. And we've got Kyle.
Hello.
Welcome.
Kyle,
So
what are you at a
Kyle-
yurt in the woods?
Do
in my
what?
basement.
Oh,
Basement.
so how's everyone doing?
We are doing good. It's kind of the calm before the storm. We've got our spring para fair this coming Sunday, so we're kind of crossing our T's, dotting our I's type of stuff right now to get that all prepared. And other than that, we're doing good.
I've had Matt on the show before. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Been quite a while.
Yes, it has. It really has been. So I wanted kind of a crash course about how you guys got into the paranormal. And I'll start with Matt, then go to Ian, and then go over to Kyle.
If I tell you my origin story, it'll take the rest of the show, so I will give you the Cliff Notes version of it.
Condensed version. Yes.
These guys sitting there, they're like, shit, I got to hear this crap again. Growing up as a kid, I lived right next door to my grandparents. My Nana was fantastic. She was the person that would buy you anything you wanted, whenever you wanted. And when we go out shopping, I would always ask her to buy me horror movies. So from a very young age, I was watching horror movies I shouldn't. And I got into first horror, and then obviously Ghostbusters came out, and got into the aspects of that. Their house actually was known to be haunted, and growing up, it was always accepted that ghosts were real. So it wasn't something I had to hide or pretend didn't happen. And this was pre-internet, so I used to have to buy books on the subject. And I got into the Warrens books and the Hans Holzer books. Then Unsolved Mysteries came about, and then every October spooky season they would do a whole episode about ghosts and all unexplained stuff, and that would blow my mind. And then shows like Sightings came about, and I will always remember the episode of Sightings about the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas, and all that going on. So that captured my imagination. And then Ghost Hunters came out, and I was like, all right, there is something here that other people also are into. So soaking up all the local lore, all the books that I could get. I started kind of low key. I didn't know it at the time, but that was my form of investigating. So I started investigating when I was pretty young and had some unexplained experiences that led me to keep trying to find more answers. And here I am 3,000 years later, still looking for answers.
Wow.
How about you, Ian?
So a little bit of a different winding path for me. Always been surrounded by the paranormal my whole life. Grew up with it. Experienced spirits from a very early age. But fast forward to about 4 or 5 years ago, actually attended one of Matt's events in Vermont. And I think the main thing that got me really into it was how absurdly priced one of his pieces of equipment was. He has this little motion sensor music box, and he was all panicked because people were walking around it. And I remember him like snapping at somebody like, hey, back up, like, don't step on this thing. And so I had the opportunity to take a look at it and really kind of reverse engineer it from a quick visual perspective, and ordered the parts and ended up building it for about 1/10 the cost.
Doesn't look as cool as mine though.
The latest prototype is actually looking pretty neat, which hopefully will be rolling out for this Wilson Castle. But no, I've been interested in it. I am a skeptic at heart, with undeniable proof and personal experience. So I kind of go at it with, I don't think that everyone in the room experiences the same thing. And I really enjoy hearing other people and what they go through. And I love deep diving into the weird, the unexplained, and things like that.
Kyle?
For me, similar to Matt's, childhood trauma, had older siblings, made me watch horror movies that I shouldn't have watched. Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street. She used to wear a full Freddy Krueger costume and chase me around the house when she was babysitting me. I would lock myself in the bathroom.
That's traumatic.
Yeah. My dad was also an antique collector. Our whole house was antiques. Everything was from the mill yard, from the city that we're from. So I remember being a little kid, having like sleep paralysis, waking up in the middle of the night, seeing figures in my room. I remember seeing like a little boy that looked like, a child laborer. And I never really thought of anything of it because I was told like it was just my imagination, which, 98% chance probably was. But as I got older, I got more into like kind of, the spooky stuff, watched a lot of MTV Fear, Scariest Places on Earth. But I never thought about ghost hunting. It wasn't even like a mainstream thing back then. And the same thing, Ghost Hunters came out, and that was the first time I heard what an EVP was, and I thought that was absolutely crazy that you could capture a voice that's going to answer questions with no one there. So I was in high school. I was in an English class that I wasn't doing too well in. I was failing. It was Myths and Legends, and we had to do a senior project, and the teacher told me, like, if I just do this, she'll pass me. So I located a local ghost hunting team, went out on an investigation with them. That was kind of a shit show. We were with this lady. She was a much bigger lady. We climbed up these huge stairs, and at the top of the stairs, she had to sit down, smoke a cigarette. She said she was out of breath. and she said that sometimes the spirits drain your energy. So I was like, okay. But I went on my own, got a voice recorder, and I was like, what's the best place to get activity? You know, probably like a family member. So I went and visited my grandmother's grave and just turned on the recorder, was just asking questions, talking to her. And right before I left, the last thing I asked her was, is there anything you want to tell me before you passed on? And I picked up a female voice clear as day that said, be good. And then after that, the rest is history. I just kept doing it.
Aww.
Yeah.
Wow.
I showed it to everybody in my family, and they're all skeptical. I'm skeptic as well, just like Ian. You know, I won't say anything's paranormal until I can rule out anything else. I don't know how many people send me pictures of orbs with the sun directly in the photo.
That drives me insane. I'm like, listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm also a photographer, and I know how a camera works and lenses and all that. So.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time, it's proof you need an air filter, not that you have spirits.
Yeah, I know, like the dust particles. Yeah,
I see a lot of those pictures with the dust particles. Like, look at all these orbs everywhere. I'm like, damn, this place is really haunted. Jesus. Ghost dust.
75,000 spirits locked in one basement.
Yeah, like, God, man.
I have seen some like balls of light with my own eyes, so I know orbs are real. But most of the times in pictures and stuff, it's nothing. You just don't know how a camera
It's
works.
funny. Matt and I were on a video probably about 6 months ago. We were on a live where I just said every orb I've ever seen was wrong, and it was probably about 3 weeks after that we were actually at Hartstoff Hall, our principal location, where we actually have it on video where this thing that I can't explain moves around the room while we have a laser grid, and it holds the light from the laser grid the entire time. So it shouldn't have been able to reflect the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's the only one I've ever seen that, like, firsthand, that I couldn't explain.
Yeah.
We caught an orb floating through a closed window and head towards was infrared cameras at the cabin on 360. I can't explain that because you can see the sticker in the window. You can see that it was closed and just flew right through the glass, right to the camera.
There, like Ian likes to say 99.9%. I think I think 5% are legit. I'm more of an orb supporter, and it's kind of one of those fun things. I love having this discussion with people because people just don't want to believe in them, and that's fine. But there are some that you cannot. If you can't determine exactly what it is, then by definition it is paranormal because you can't explain it.
Yeah, there's some that are just obvious that they're not.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you can tell a bug if it's going 85 miles an hour and creating a friggin' chemtrail behind it. That's not a ghost running to the bathroom. That's a bug. You know, like there's just some things. But when you see, like, dust doesn't pulse and dance to music. But some of these orbs come out, you know, dancing around and they don't have a pattern. And I don't know. I can pick apart orbs all day. I love that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I was in a cemetery, famously haunted cemetery around this area called Vale End Cemetery. There's a spirit there called the Blue Lady. And me and a couple of my friends went there like 3 nights in a row trying to capture it. And the last time we were there, we saw this giant blue ball of light floating across the cemetery. And it was not like real quick. It was there for like over a minute. And it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it had its own light source. I mean, this was before smartphones. At first, I thought it was like a flip phone, someone in the background, but it came forward and just started floating up and down. And yeah, that was wild. So
I sold this to my brother Orazio and I when we were younger. We used to go out in the field and play. And Orazio, and like I blue, it was like orange, but it was like huge. It was huge, and it was its own light force. And it used to chase Orazio. Like it happened a few times, like 3 or 4 times when we were outside playing around. But I still can't come up with any explanation as to what it is.
Yeah.
No clue.
And I've never seen anything like that since. And I've been doing this for a while, so like I'm with Matt, 5%.
Don't shake your head,
you guys 5%. I can't.
Who's listening to Sean?
I'll give you
right
1.
Now?
It's the story of your life, Ian.
I'll give you 1.
It's a good
I mean,
song.
there's a lot more not than there is, that's for sure. But there's always that there's always that one time where it's like, oh well,
Yeah.
So I have this one video up on YouTube. My YouTube's hot garbage. I don't pretend it's got great stuff. I haven't put up anything new on there in a long time, but I have a video up there from Wilson Castle, and it's my most viewed video, and it's still to this was like 4 years ago. I get new comments on this video almost every day from people either saying you're a complete idiot, that's dust, or that's Jesus Christ himself coming to speak to you. I'm like, oh, it's insane people's opinions on orbs. But the backstory of this video, the room was being the whole place was being recorded that night for some crap somebody was filming. And I get tired early. I don't really care to hide that. I'm like, hey, it's 12 o'clock, I'm going to bed. Good night. So I went to bed. I was sleeping in the bed with on my back, and you could see, dust particles. That's normal. But from the bathroom, you see this pulsing orb come across the screen like this, and it shoots straight down into my chest. About 25 to 30 seconds later, it shoots right out of my chest. The only reason we even knew to look at this footage, because when I woke up the next day, my chest hurt like I got kicked by a donkey. Like, it was bad. I was like, it's not a heart attack, but I feel like I got punched or something in the chest. We looked at that footage, and that was what happened. So to me, I kind of like, you know what? That's what that was. I believe that because it happened to me. And I put up the video, possible spirit seen entering and leaving my body. And to this day, I get these ridiculous comments. Like, some people definitely believe it. Some people think I'm crazy, whatever.
So your YouTube channel, is it Matt Warner or is it
Warner Paranormal Explorers?
Okay. I'm gonna have to look it up and see.
Just leave a really funny comment for me. That's all I ask.
Absolutely. I can make that happen.
So how did the Warner Paranormal Preservation Society start?
So that started a little over 2 years ago now, which time is flying by. I had an opportunity to investigate Hartsuff Hall, which Ian had mentioned prior. It's a building that's in the town next door to where I grew up, and it's a former Grand Army of the Republic Hall. So it was built in 1899 as a meeting hall for Civil War veterans and their families. It's been used for many things over the course of its period of time there. And it's one of those buildings. It's got two cannons out front, and the cannons are actually facing south in case the uprising ever happened again. They were ready for them, type of deal. You drive by this place, and it's one of those buildings you're like, I want to go inside that building. I need to know what's inside that building. So growing up, I wasn't over there often, but anytime I drove by, I was like, oh, that place looks cool as hell. So fast forward to the lovely pandemic, and a friend of mine wound up joining the group that runs the building. The majority of the people that run this building, it's the Hartsuff Memorial Association, which I'm now a member of, but the majority of them are also members of the Mass 22nd, which is a Civil War reenactment group. So they would meet there to do their reenactments and their meetings and all this stuff. And so every time they would meet for a meeting once a month, I would say to my buddy, I say, hey, get me in that building. I just want to go in the building and I just want to investigate. Because a friend of ours has investigated it, we'll say 10 years ago. He had the opportunity to investigate, had all these experiences, and I knew it had something going on and I needed to see for myself. So I kept harassing and hounding my buddy. And it got to the point, it was November of, we'll call it, what year is this? November of 2021. And he was at the meeting, and they were talking, and they said, we really need to figure out a way to raise some funds to keep the building going. He raised his hand. He said, well, I know a guy. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Told him what I'm into, what I proposed. And they're like, well, yeah, he can come to the next meeting and kind of present himself. So I did. That December, I went to the meeting. You open the door of this building and it smells 100 years old, and it's the best thing on earth. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite. I walk in every time and I just inhale. So the first time walking through the door, I was like, holy shit, I'm inside this building finally. And I went into the meeting, and half the people at the meeting were in the Civil War. They're about 200 years old. I'm like, this is not going to be an easy sell. So they did their thing, and then they, introduced whatever. So I got up, introduced myself, laid out what I felt I could do in terms of helping them. And, after a little while, all the members seemed really keen on the idea. The one holdover was the commander. And he said, well, I don't think it's haunted, but we'd feel more comfortable if you were a member, or if a member was doing this. I said, what's that entail? Like, I felt like saying, I don't even know what the hell you guys do here. I still don't know what they do there. I've been there for 2 years. So, well, it's, it takes some paperwork, and it's $20. I just kind of laughed. I said, well, here's your $20, man. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. So I became a member. They let me start doing some investigations there so that I could build up evidence and, start kind of teasing the locals that were going to be doing this stuff. So when that happened, I realized, okay, as much as I like to do everything by myself, I'm going to need help with this. And I thought, okay, I can count on one hand the people I want to spend 4 or 5 hours in the dark with. And there's not a lot of people I want to spend that kind of time with. So I reached out to this said group of people, and I said, hey, I've got this really great opportunity, and I need some help. We get to investigate this place that's brand new and never been really investigated before. No one knows about it. So I created this Warner Paranormal Preservation Society as a way for us to all come together, and then all the work that we do with the hall and now the house that I'm sitting in that I live in, a big portion of the proceeds goes back into the preservation of these locations so that we can keep them alive for generations to come, so people can still come and enjoy them. And we're doing that via the paranormal in our events. So it's been very rewarding because it's given me purpose and sense, and it keeps all the riffraff and white noise away from me that I got so bothered by within the field. Like, as you guys all know that are in the field, it gets tiring trying to impress people and keep up with everything. It's just not worth it. Everybody's a critic. And now we have something that gives us purpose, and we're giving back. And the town has fully embraced us. They love everything we're doing over there. We've been given access to many other locations now, and it's been really good.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Wow.
So what kind of activity have you guys been able to capture out there?
I mean, we've had everything at the hall, basically, right? Like, I've seen 3 full-bodied apparitions my entire life. One of them was in that hall in the attic, and it scared the ever-loving crap out of me. But we've seen shadow movement. You have footsteps in that building constantly. I'll give you an example. I was there on Sunday with a friend of mine, and we were just getting all the tables ready for the fair. She's not really a believer. She comes to my house. She goes, this place isn't haunted. I'm like, oh, okay, you pay attention. Shit happens when you're not paying attention. So we're at the hall setting up the tables, and I came up one of the staircases, and I was like, holy shit. And she's like, what? And I said, somebody just walked into the ballroom. I saw them, and I thought it was one of the members, but there was nobody there, of course. And this is a very normal occurrence. The spirits at the hall know that I do not like being there alone. And even though I wasn't there alone, they still love to mess with me because they know it gets me. I'm very scared all the time. I'm a scared ghost hunter. It's just who I am, but I like that. Like, it makes me feel alive. So, God, what else? I mean, we've got tons of EVPs from there. We captured Benjamin. Yes. So there's a little boy there, and he won't come into the main ballroom. We don't know why, but we surmise that it's because his parents or his father might have gone to meetings there and made him stay out in the hallway while they were in there. Courtney's been there. Hey, Courtney. But I was doing a TikTok live one night in there, sitting at the table, looking towards where we know that Benjamin is. And one of the viewers said, what is that? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I looked, and right in the doorway, there's a little boy standing there. You can make him out pretty well. And so I screenshotted that. Ian's wife, Kim, who's also a member of our society and a photographer, she took that photo and ran it through so many different filter systems, and it didn't change during one filter. Everything around it changed, but that shadow that we caught stayed the exact same in every photo, which you can't debunk that. You can't say, oh, that was something off the wall. That boy was there. So that's probably my greatest piece of evidence ever. I don't really put stuff out like that because, like I said, there'll always be those people that don't believe it. And
Yeah.
what do I care? It's all for
But,
personal
Matt,
experience.
I still have a 10-minute video of me having a conversation. So one thing I'll do is I'll set up a candle and try to ask yes or no questions. Flare the candle for yes, dull the candle for no. And I have about a 10-minute conversation where it was clear interaction. When I asked for the candle to be brought down to almost out, it was brought down to almost out. When I asked for it to flare, it flared. It was very responsive. And again, I don't. My YouTube channel is terrible. It's just me jabbering about nonsense. But the hall has such an amazing activity level there. And I mean, my wife was in the other room and giggling away at us on the video, has had a ton of experiences there as well.
Yep. And Courtney does a show called Scared and Alone. I probably gave it the wrong name. Correct me if I'm wrong. But she, for the first time I met her, she came to the hall. I did the tour with her and everything, and then it was like time for me to sit outside in the car while she did her show. And she had a night. Like, she had all kinds of things going on, and I could tell that she did not like being in there alone. And I know how that feels.
Yeah,
There's nothing evil there, though. It's not a bad energy. It's just a lot of energy.
It kills me when I hear, especially you, Matt, when you talk about how much you don't like being in there alone. I'll go in there and I'll just hang. I mean, we did one event not too long ago. I took a nap in the basement. Like, I am absolutely at peace in that building. Everything in there is just calming and soothing to me. Even when doors are moving, footsteps are going above me, it really is just a very peaceful energy that's in there, I think.
Do you watch true crime TV before you go to bed too, to relax yourself? Because that seems very like sketchy. Like, I would be so afraid to stay in there.
I'm pretty dull. I am a pretty big nerd, and none of this stuff really freaks me out. Like, if this could really hurt us, the South would be in trouble. Like, that's it's. I
think it's the not knowing. Like, not knowing. It's like something that can happen at any time. And when I go into like the like, I have to go out to the rancher tonight to fix a camera reset up. And honestly, I'm not looking forward to it, because I know what's in there. I know it can't hurt me, but at the same time, I'm like, still, you kind of get your nerves.
So
Yes.
I think so. Matt and Kyle both joked about having this traumatic childhood that led them to the paranormal. I think mine. I don't talk about mine because mine makes me at peace with the paranormal. Nothing is going to happen in a haunted location. I think that's going to rival the things I've dealt with living beings. So I'm not concerned, and truly, like, I don't think that. I've actually had this conversation with a few people. I don't think that there's an inherently evil energy anywhere. I think that there are certain things floating that we can't really define that feed off of certain energies, and the evil or hate or anger or violence that you bring into a space is what you're going to leave with. And since I don't enter these spaces with that kind of hostility or anger, it just is peaceful for me.
I am the biggest bitch going into anywhere by myself.
No. Let me introduce you to it.
I am.
Come on over real quick.
Ask Ryan. How many times have I went to adventure?
I mean,
listen.
You went.
This is the one that screams at things that don't happen.
Hey, Kim has gotten much better.
She has. She truly has.
It's so scary to me. Like, I would never do it.
Her first run at Wilson was hilarious.
God.
What happened?
She someone was knocking on our door at like 3 a.m. and you got up, right?
I didn't get up. I went.
There was no one there. There was no one there. No one was moving, and she woke me up and was like, "Someone's banging on our door. Someone's walking around in our room." And I was like, "Yeah, it's probably the ghosts." And I rolled over and went back to sleep.
Oh my God. I would be like, "Get the fuck up right now." God.
That's just Wilson Castle. That's just what that place does.
Oh my god!
I was worried.
Weird ghost waking you up and shit. That's terrible.
I'm still like flabbergasted that this man fell asleep in a basement of like a haunted location. It's just like
It's gross down there too.
That's what I said. Don't.
Oh yeah, and
don't
it's not
bring that
clean.
in.
my
It's not
bladders
clean.
are gassed.
There's probably some asbestos.
listen.
Oh, there's definitely
Before he-
asbestos in that basement.
Although if it gets slow on an investigation, it is easy to get tired.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you
where
get
you
so
are.
drained.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It is
you know,
easy.
there are
Yeah.
times when I've almost fallen asleep in a chair downstairs in the basement at the cabin because it's just like
I feel
if there's
my
nothing going
limits
on,
always,
you're
like-
sitting in the dark. You know, I can see how that would happen.
Absolutely.
Ugh. I mean,
Hmm.
you can come with me anywhere on any investigation and be like that protector, because I feel like you would be that protector in like your group. Like if you said Matt, you get scared.
Yeah.
is he like your calm? Is he is like you're okay?
No,
Okay.
No,
I
God,
am
no,
not the calm.
he's my irritant.
I am absolutely not the calm. I am the chaos. I am
Yeah,
the mouse.
He doesn't have sleeves. That should tell you.
Yeah, if you ever come to Wilson Castle, you'll fully understand what it's like to investigate with us because it doesn't really, you just don't know. Wilson
So-
Castle we use as a party, so it really is a very, very different vibe for the casual investigator because it's you're investigating a different kind of spirits for the most part, and
Mhm.
things are going on around you. You're not really paying attention because you're just having a good time.
Yeah.
I use the phrase pocket joy.
Pocket joy. What is pocket
Right.
joy? I will need to know this.
Joy.
Sounds awful.
It doesn't sound bad.
Sounds like
It's
a drink.
joyous. No, so one of the things that I do every year at Wilson is I'll carry a fifth in each back pocket, and
Ooh.
one's for the community and one's for me. And yeah, that's kind of I am the
That's
maelstrom.
funny.
Pocket
That's
joy.
funny.
There you go.
Pocket of joy.
So, what is the most craziest encounter that you guys have ever had? Like, just by far the most intense or scariest? Like, any kind of encounters that like just leave you speechless?
Kyle, you haven't
Oh.
said much.
Mine would be we were in Athol, Mass, at some hospice where like 180 something people died in this room, and I felt the breath on my neck and whisper in my ear, and it scared the living shit out of me, and I ran out of there. And at the time, I think it was unvacant. It wasn't like a location that they were doing investigations at. I don't know how we got in there or were able to, but that was the craziest thing. I heard something whisper in my ear. I don't know what it said, but I felt the breath and everything. The hair on my neck stood up, and yeah, I was out of there.
So you were there alone?
No, I was with a group of people.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's hard not to freak out when you hear a voice that's not supposed to be there.
Right. God. Mm.
That happened to me at St. Albans too, in Virginia.
Go to St. So we're
Love
going
it.
to St. Albans so bad.
And I was in the broiler. I was in the broiler room by myself, where there's apparently a spirit down there called Smokey or something.
Yep.
People leave cigarettes and cigars for him, and a penny came flying across the room out of nowhere and hit me right on the boot.
Oh my God.
I wish I kept that penny, but I didn't have time to think, and I just got out of there.
He was like,
But
I'm out.
yeah,
God, that's freaky. Do you, you're Kim?
Yes,
Okay. Do you do investigations with them as well?
sometimes.
Okay. So have you ever had any experiences?
So my most craziest experience is not with the group so far. I don't know how old I was, but it was probably in elementary school, and I had a nightmare, and my normal nightmare, and I went to my parents' room to sleep in there for the night, and I legit saw, and I know this sounds crazy, but the lampshade on my parents' lamp like just started spinning by itself.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll never forget it. Like it's clear as day, which was terrifying. And I also hid under the blankets in that instance too.
I would have.
As you do.
The radio when we were dating.
Yeah, the radio, that was terrifying. We when Ian and I started dating, this is back when like I guess people still have radios, I don't know. But there was like you plug in radio. And it kept turning on and off by itself, so we unplugged it and it literally just kept turning on even though it was turned off. And this is like there's no batteries in it or anything like that, but not necessarily a ghost, but definitely unexplained.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What is your most craziest?
Well, I've had a few. I'd say the most recent, like really scary thing, seeing the apparition at Heart Stuff was pretty scary, but the only time I've ever felt scared, and I'm not gonna say in danger because it's a ghost, you know, like if a ghost can do damage, please do it because I want to be that person that they prove that on. Like that's cool. Hey, Christy, thank you. I was out in Detroit a couple years ago, and I was fortunate enough to go to the Detroit 6th Precinct, which is no longer accessible. And it was a former police station. And it is actually the site where the Detroit riots in the late 60s, early 70s, I forget the time frame, but that's where they started. And there's just a ton of really bad history at this place. And I was there, it was August, and it was about 95 degrees outside, and it was even warmer inside. It was one of those types of weathers where all the batteries on your equipment just died because it was just they were overheating and you couldn't do anything, and it just sweat pouring down you. So I'm here at this thing, and I went down into the basement, and in the basement was a shooting range, and it was a group of gals, and they were doing some spirit box stuff, and it was known that there was a spirit named Billy in the basement. So they're asking questions, and I will say, whenever I'm in a prison or that type of place, I have no problem provoking because it's usually scumbags that were there. So they don't deserve the respect that I will give to other spirits. That's just my thing. So I was kind of poking the bear, doing some Zach Bagans type bullshit, and asking these questions. And I got to asking, what were you here for? What did you do? And I said, were you a murderer? We didn't get a response. And I said, well, were you, a rapist? And we got a yes. And I said, you are the lowest of the low. You're a piece of shit scumbag. Mm-hmm. And the feeling, the energy in that room changed so much. I was like, all right, I get it. I'm going to leave them alone. And I went upstairs. I'm sitting upstairs, and I apologize. I'm very long-winded when it comes to stories. So we might be here till next time.
That's fine.
Back. It's fine.
So I go upstairs, and I'm just sitting trying to make my stupid camera rig work. And a friend of mine texts me who had been watching a live stream. He said, hey, there's some activity in the cell block. Go check it out. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go check it out because everybody's outside. But I was like, yeah, I'll go check it out, knowing there's a camera in there and I won't necessarily feel so alone. So the cell block had, I want to say, 5 cells on each side. And then at the very end, there was a drunk tank. It was very dark, pitch black. So I'm standing in the middle asking questions. And one of the things I can do when my abilities work is I see energy. And kind of like the big ball, like you were saying, that's about what I see. Soccer ball size balls of energy, usually gold. And I saw one of these in a cell. And I was like, okay, I can see that you're here. Communicate with me, what have you. And I heard noise down in the drunk tank. So I went down there to make sure nobody was there. Nobody was there. And then I heard the same noise down at the other end. And I said, all right, I'm not going to play this game all night. This isn't fun for me. So I'm standing in the middle, drunk tank off to my right, exit over to the left. I said, honestly, if you don't want me here, I'm tired of the games. Like, let me know how you don't want me here. Prove to me that you want me to leave. Show yourself and I will leave. In the door of the drunk tank, a huge black shadow fills the doorway. And it rushes down the hall. I look and it goes through me. And it was the coldest, icy, chill energy burst that went through my body that I have ever felt. I didn't think that kind of stuff could even happen. As that happened, I know I'm on camera, so I don't want to freak out. But I
Mhm.
hightailed it out of that building, and I never went back in that building that night. And I actually never went back in again because I never went back there. That chilled me out to the bone because it was very deliberate because it's what I asked for.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's yeah, that's the thing with this whole paranormal thing. It's like, we ask for stuff, and when we get it, it still kind of takes us by surprise, even though we asked for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was kidding. I didn't really want that.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I want that.
Yeah.
Dixie
Please,
backsies, please.
Take it back.
It's a rhetorical question, not a real one.
Right?
That's more of a Ghostbusters librarian situation.
That's right.
Very much so, yeah.
I was being facetious. Leave me alone,
That's right.
please.
Get her.
God, I would just, oh my God, if I would have seen that, like, I don't know. I am that person to scream and like run. I
A little jumpy. You're a little bit jumpy.
I am
We're
very
a little
jumpy.
jumpy.
It's fight or flight.
It's
That's what I love
working
about
with me
fear.
on it. But like,
Mhm.
God, man, I'd be freaked out.
I'm
We
the kind of
have-
guy who wants. I
Hmm?
won't watch horror movies. I don't like doing that kind of stuff, but I'll still go investigate ghosts. And people are like, "Well, why do you do that? Because it's not the same thing." I'm not really worried about being killed when I'm investigating, or even I don't even have any jump scares when you're investigating. Maybe once in a while something will fall and you'll jump, but nothing super like insane.
Except
At least
for
not yet. I've not had anything pull my hair or drag me up the steps or do whatever.
um,
It might change my opinion if that happens to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
might be like,
listen,
okay,
you're going to the cabin alone tonight, so please don't wish that on you at all.
I'll be on Facebook Live. So if it happens,
Like,
at least it'll
so
be on
it's
camera.
drag me
visible.
up the stairs.
It'll be good content.
We'll be on live just watching Ryan just
get
like get
possessed on
dragged
camera.
upstairs.
I have two other pretty crazy stories that kind of correlate with each other, or
Yeah, go
kind of
ahead.
sum up. So they don't actually relate to each other, but it's kind of like my beginning about my grandmother. And this was a few years ago. I was in my apartment, middle of the night. I heard 3 knocks on my bedroom door. I got up. No one was there. My apartment was already kind of haunted. It had activity. We heard cabinets closing and opening all the time. Shadow figure in front of the main door. But that night, I went back to bed. Didn't think anything of it. At this time, I was working at a diner, and I did the same routine every morning. Wake up, go to Dunkin' Donuts, go to work. I did the same thing. Went to Dunkin's, and at that time, I was drinking iced lattes, and I ordered the same thing. And then that day, the latte machine was down, and it took a little bit longer to make my coffee. So I eventually got my coffee, and I'm driving on the highway, and I see this car merging, but impatiently not waiting for the merge to actually merge, and decided to just go onto the highway and cut over the merging lines. And he just smashed into this car. All these other cars started hitting each other and spinning and smoke everywhere. And then I'm in the middle, and we all come to a stop, and there's a clear path in front of me with all these cars. I have the picture of it. There's smoke everywhere, debris everywhere, and missed me by literally probably like milliseconds.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So I kind of like didn't think about it till later in that day, and I was like, those 3 knocks on my door in the middle of the night. They say the holy mock of the Trinity or whatever. But I kind of thought of it like someone was trying to throw me off my path, my routine or something, trying to buy me a little bit of time, because
Yeah.
if I went to Dunkin's that day and the coffee machine was working, I would have been in and out of there sooner, and I probably would have been involved in that accident. Nobody got hurt, fortunately, but I could have been that one person that did.
Mhm.
Hope you left them a good review, Kyle.
I know,
Yeah.
like they're
You,
coming.
you get the survey on the receipt. You better do 5 stars.
So my next story is kind of crazy. I go on searches every year. There's a pretty well-known missing persons case here in New Hampshire called Maura Murray. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. She's been missing for like 20 years now, and we were on a search for her. Her brother was there, and at that time he still is. He was dating this girl. She's a psychic medium. Never met her before. She doesn't know me, knows nothing about me, doesn't know what I do. And she just comes up to me and she was like, "Hey, I'm Sarah." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm Kyle." She was like, "I just had this urge to tell you that this woman was coming to me, and she follows you and protects you, and she just wanted me to let you know she knows that everything you do is because of her." And I'm like, "That's pretty crazy." I was like, "It's obviously my grandmother," and I
Mhm.
started tearing up, and then I started thinking like, that was probably her who was knocking on my door, and she's been following me ever since that time I captured her voice on the recorder telling me to be good. And the
Wow.
fact that this random lady knows nothing about me, doesn't know that I'm a ghost hunter or any of this stuff, it's just like, hey, this woman is just like talking to me and wants me to tell you that she knows the reason you like she's the reason why you do everything.
Aww.
I love that kind of validation.
I
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
that's
It's
gonna make you feel good.
Yeah. So that was pretty crazy.
Aw. Does anybody else have any like weird psychic not weird, but like crazy psychic stories or medium stories? You guys use mediums on your investigations at all?
We have so Julie, what does Julie classify herself as, Kim?
Say me.
Tarot medium.
She's a psychic medium.
Russ says he's a medium.
He looks more like a large.
He really is.
like
I mean, I have abilities that I don't know how to tap into. They show up, they go away, and I'm kind of okay with that because I don't really want them right now. I also believe that we all have the abilities. It's just we're all so distracted with real life that we can't tap into that. I had my very first psychic experience. It was very profound, and it happened at Wilson Castle, which they're gonna have to stop paying us for all this promotion.
I know. Listen.
Sponsored by Wilson Castle.
Yeah. It was my first time ever being up there, and I was up there to film a documentary with some friends from Ohio. And a couple months prior to that, a friend of mine did some Reiki on me, which at the time I thought was some hocus pocus bullshit too. She lives down in Georgia, and she's like, "Oh, I could tell you need this." I was like, "Yeah, whatever you want to do," But I knew she believed in it, so I put the faith in that belief of hers that all this Reiki would do something. And she gave me the heads up that, like, I'm going to do this, but it's going to open up your abilities a lot when this happens. And I said, okay, whatever you think. And didn't put much stock into it. Going through the Reiki, I did actually, like, I could feel all this weird weight lifted off me as she was doing it because she was kind of talking to me through it. So I was like, all right, maybe this is a thing. But fast forward, I'm at Wilson Castle a couple months later, and we're in the music room. It's just a few of us. We've got all this equipment all over the floor. And I'm just sitting on this couch by myself, and I've got my arm on the armrest here. And I could tell, I don't know what it was, but I could tell that it was the spirit of a little boy. I have kids. I'm really good with kids because I'm mentally still a child. So they always gravitate towards me anyways because I can sense their kind. So I would prefer to hang out with kids all day long if it wasn't, frowned upon. So I knew that this was a kid. And I'm sitting there and I was like, okay. And I could feel like a fear energy. So I was like, you don't have to be scared. So I just draped my arm like this. And I said, if it makes you feel better, you can grab my hand. You can hold my hand. And as soon as I said that, my whole hand got ice cold.
Aww.
And I could see what looked like if you put a block of dry ice in my hand, I could see the billowy little cloudy smoke all around my fingers.
Aww.
And I was losing my shit because I'm like, does anybody else see this? Because this is some next level wild shit that this isn't normal. And no one could see it, but they could feel the cold if they put their hand there. So I got super drained and I was like, I need to take a break. I went outside and I was like, what the fuck is happening to me right now? This is weird. I don't know. So a little later on, I went back in. I said, okay, I'm sorry I had to leave. You took a lot of my energy. You could do it again, but just leave me some. Instantly, the hand is in my hand again. This time I could see the smoke even more pronounced. And I'm like, holy shit, So we're talking. I'm trying to get answers from this child to see what's wrong. And basically what we surmise is that he was scared of someone else that was in this house.
Oh,
so I was trying to be like, it's okay. You don't have to be scared. I'm here to protect you. And I looked, and at that moment, I saw an actual hand in my hand and about this much of an arm. With my own two eyes, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
and that was enough for me. I was like, "Okay, I have abilities. Like, I don't want them anymore. Take them back."
Bring them back.
It was a
Bring
lot.
back.
And I
Change
don't know
my
how
mind.
people. I don't know how people do that all the time. Like, I see
Yeah.
dead people. So I don't want to see dead people all the time. I just want that parlor trick once in a while.
Listen, imagine being the scaredest person in the world and seeing ghosts on a regular basis. That is me, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
I don't blame you one bit.
Coming from the other side of it, I guess it's Claire. What is Danny call it? She calls it Claire cognition.
It
Or
depends
Claire
on which
cognizance.
sense it is.
Like I just know stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't see, I don't vibe, I don't feel, I don't get to see the smoke, I don't get to see the hand.
Don't feel.
I don't feel, as my wife says. That's don't know how to take that one.
Probably to the bedroom to fix it.
Peace, y'all.
Yeah. No, I actually envy that. I envy the ability to actually visualize the things that you are experiencing. Because truthfully, like I can walk into a place and know that there's an energy there. I can have an idea of how to interact or how to actually, I don't know, kind of navigate that circumstance. But I would prefer to see it personally. Like coming from a skeptic perspective, my intuition or my gut feeling about a situation is highly suspect, as opposed to some kind of visual confirmation. So you might be the most terrified person in the room seeing ghosts, but coming from someone that just kind of thinks that maybe sort of there's a feeling that it might be there, I would love that visual confirmation.
Yeah.
I think the hard part would be seeing it all the time and not being prepared for it. Like you walk out the door, and all of a sudden there's someone standing there, which and you're not expecting it. Well, that's what would I would like to see him too, but not like all the time. Like I hear stories from Sarah and Rhonda and my friends. Like I woke in the middle of the night, there was a man standing at my bed.
There was a woman in my face last night.
Like, there you go.
I mean,
she woke me up and said boo, and then she hackled and fucking left. And I was like, what the fuck? I screamed so loud, and Diane was like, are you fucking okay? Like, what is going on? My wife.
I mean, so okay? I guess coming from someone that doesn't experience that, right? So I don't have the same experience set. I don't have the same perspective. It's not like it's a 13 ghost situation where some dude with a cage helmet is interrupting your sleep.
Dude, if the jackal was interrupting my sleep, I would be all done for.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I've never known stranger danger, so
I never know stranger danger.
the autism turned that part of my brain off. So
you got that flavor of autism. I have a different flavor. I have the one where I'm just like my brain is donezo for everything. But
what's going on, Matt?
It's just
the house talking.
Yeah, footsteps upstairs.
They're getting restless. So, guys, we're almost to the end of the show. I want to thank you guys for coming on and chatting with us tonight. Really appreciate it. And tell us about the spring paranormal investigation you guys got going on this weekend.
So this upcoming Sunday, we have our second annual Wicked Pissa Spring Para Fair. It is a craft fair with a paranormal twist. We put on 2 per year. We do a winter one and a spring one. We have a various arrangement of psychic readers, tarot cards, astrologists, those types of things. And then we also have an entire ballroom full of vendors offering all sorts of different stuff from crystals and taxidermy and everything in between.
Okay.
We have a lot of fun with
a big crowd.
Yeah, we usually do pretty well with the foot traffic. It's not on a main road. The vendors themselves do a really good job of pulling in foot traffic, and it's fantastic. So I don't know how many we're going to get this year, this one, but we're hoping for the best.
How's the weather?
Kim's always great for a few taxidermied items.
Yeah, Kim keeps everybody's lights on, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Weather looks good so far too.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, I hadn't looked yet, so I couldn't answer that question.
Hopefully, it's not too hot and humid up there.
No, it looks like it's going to
72
be
and sunny.
slightly overcast.
Nice. So how can people keep track of what you guys do? You have a Facebook page and everything.
You can find out everything we're doing at warnerparanormal.com, courtesy of Ian, who decided to bring us into the 21st century with the website. And then you can also find us on all social medias at Warner Paranormal Explorers or Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. A little bit of different content between the two. We're on TikTok and YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, which used to be Twitter, Snapchat. I don't think we use Snapchat though. So
I'm
but we're
married.
there.
I'm not allowed to have a Snapchat.
I have a different one for that.
There you go.
Don't forget to check out Matt's and Ian's totally awesome YouTube pages. That
Yes,
and
your socks will be blown
on
off.
their videos.
So you guys started this conversation about it being like a lecture. Most of my YouTube is essentially lectures on granular scientific reviews of the paranormal.
Wow.
That's cool.
So you know how to party. Basically what you're saying.
It's funny is a lot of folks that know me personally have talked a little bit about how different my podcast is from me as a human.
That's
A weird thing to say, like me as a human.
Well,
What happens on the podcast?
so
one way
the
to put it.
moderator is a caricature. It's a
Oh, that was-
persona.
Okay.
The moderator.
The moderator.
I was wondering who the heck was the moderator.
Sleeveless Wonder.
Is that your catchphrase? Get moderated.
Yeah, it was a gag
Moderated.
and it stuck, and now I'm screwed.
Yep.
So,
I think it's
Yeah.
awesome. That's so funny. All right, guys. Well, good luck with everything you guys have coming up.
Much appreciated.
Appreciate you guys coming
Thank
on
you
the
for
show,
having me,
Yeah, thank
and
you.
we'll have you back on here, and we'll talk about more ghosts and stuff.
Absolutely. If you guys ever get up our way, let us know. We'll get you a tour of the hall.
Ooh,
yeah,
I'd
that
love
would be
that.
fun. That would be really
You have to
fun.
take a road trip.
I would suggest not August.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
little
or
hot up
July,
there.
for that matter. It's very hot.
Yeah, it's hot down here too, so it won't be much different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yes, sir.
Come
All
to
right,
our
guys,
event
yep.
so we can buy air conditioning.
Perfect. There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Have raised
Let's
money
get
for
outlets
everything
first.
there.
Let's not.
And if you're ever down in Virginia, come see us at the cabin on 360.
Oh, it is on my short list. I've wanted to go there since I was on your show last time. I have not been to Virginia itself yet.
Oh man! So if you come on down, I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
I
If
like
he comes down, I'll come down. Say hi.
All right. You guys have a good night.
You
You
too.
as well.
Thank you
Have a
guys.
good
All
one.
right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked up at the clock and I was like, dang, it's been an hour already. I felt like it just like
Oh, by
flew
fast.
by.
Not
Jeez.
not quite the 2-hour show we did with the static com
Oh my God.
people, but they had a lot of videos to show us and
They
a
had
long explanation for each one.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
So
lot.
yeah, it was
My mind was blown the entire time though. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this
I
is
was-
actually happening.
yeah. I was slightly distracted. I have to go back to the cabin tonight. I was like,
I know. He was like,
oh, crap. That's gonna be fun.
I don't know.
Oh
Just
man.
go live. Then nothing will happen.
I am. I told Sarah. like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
live
said
with
you're
you.
gonna be on
Nothing will
live.
happen.
I'm
On live
inviting
with
you.
me.
You're
Yeah.
going to be on live while I'm there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, so
All
at least anything happens, at least it'll be on camera so people can see it.
And I can call
They'll be
911.
like, oh shit, maybe we'll bring more people to the
Ryan's being carried up by his
see
feet.
where that guy got murdered by the ghost.
He fucking said he was gonna do it, and then it happened.
That's right. I just said that nothing happens to me. Then all of a sudden,
So stupid.
I
That
get,
was
like-
so stupid of you,
that's right.
Ryan. C.
That's right.
Jones.
I need to knock on some wood here. So next week we've got Odd Virginia
Yay.
back
Woo,
on the
so
show.
excited. They're so fun.
So super excited about that, and we're gonna be fun. Then we've got Haunted Nights
Yay.
coming on the show. So it's
Odd
going to be.
Paranormal. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Odd Paranormal. Their tone of voices are so calming. Like, because I guess they have like a podcast or something, but like their
Yeah.
tone of voices, I was like mesmerized because like they have like the perfect voice for like their podcast or like any
Mhm.
podcast. You know
Very
how
good. They got good storytelling voices.
yes.
I like.
Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. I'm like, I need to figure out how I can like tone my
Talk like
voice and
this,
not to
yeah.
be too pitched. I'm like,
I'm so like anxious when it comes to the show. I can't be like very calm. So I've got to be like, oh, because when the show starts, I have all this energy, right? So I'm like, what can we freaks out there? Because I'm just trying to get the energy out. Eventually, it calms down to where I'm like, all right, more chill. But that last 10 minutes before the show starts, man, I'm just like ready to fucking go. The show starts, and I'm like shooting out of the cannon. It's like, all right, let's do it. Woohoo! What's up, all you freaks out there?
God.
So now I've got to ease my way down into like where I can actually go to sleep, but no, not anymore. I gotta be
Like
go
caffeine.
over to the rancher. No
Mhm.
coffee tonight. Drinking the tea. So, all right, let me get this over with. So if I'm not here next week, you'll know why. Watch my live feed. You'll know
We'll be
why.
at your funeral.
Live.
Yes, right.
We'll go on live
Right.
at your funeral. It's okay.
That's right.
We'll
What's
do an
up, freaks? I'm at Ryan's funeral. He actually died on to some random day.
Let's
You
do
know
a
it's-
live investigation to
You know it's
see
Ryan's
how
funeral, but it's also,
died.
talk to a rock day. Which I'm sure there probably is a talk to a rock day.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know there's a pet rock day.
Yeah, there is. And you probably need to talk to it. Just saying. Just saying. All right, guys. Well, Rhonda, who do you guys have coming on?
I believe we have medium Carrie Lynn Shellhorn again on
Nice.
Sunday. I believe.
Nice. Actually, I have a Sunday off this week. It's been going on Sundays for the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
So no Sunday show for us. But we're back here Tuesday night with the Odd Virginia podcast.
Yeah.
Going to be telling stories, spinning some yarns, as they used to say back in the day. Going to spin some yarns.
Some yarns.
Yarn, spinning the yarn. All right. Back here Tuesday night, same freaking awesome time.
Same freaking awesome channel.
Do it.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.